If we do not act boldly and swiftly, a bad situation could become dramatically worse. That is why I've proposed an American Recovery and Reinvestment Plan to immediately jumpstart job creation as well as long-term economic growth. I will provide our intelligence and law enforcement agencies with the tools they need to track and take out the terrorists without undermining our Constitution and our freedom.
If you make under $250,000, you will not see your taxes increase by a single dime. Not your income tax, not your payroll tax, not your capital gains tax.
I will promise you this, that if we have not gotten our troops out by the time I am president, it is the first thing I will do.
When there's a bill that ends up on my desk as president, you, the public, will have 5 days to look online and find out what's in it before I sign it. First, no matter what you've heard, if you like your doctor or health care plan, you can keep it. If you don't have insurance, you'll finally be able to afford insurance. And everyone will have the security and stability that's missing today. It is important for us to make sure this thing is deficit neutral, without tricks. When it comes to telephone calls, nobody is listening to your telephone calls. That's not what this program's about.
I believe that marriage is the union between a man and a woman. Now, for me as a Christian,
And one of the things I think the next president has to do is to stop fanning people's fears. I am thrilled that we have Secretary Sebelius taking the reins. She is the right person at the right time for the job. My plan would cut our deficit by $4 trillion. We need to build a 21st century VA that will better serve all who've answered our nation's call. That means cutting red tape and easing transition into civilian life. It means eliminating shortfalls, fully funding VA health care, and providing the benefits our veterans have earned. And there is no one more distinguished, more determined, or more qualified to build this VA than the leader I'm announcing as our next Secretary of Veterans Affairs, General Eric Shinseki. No more national security letters to spy on citizens who are not suspected of a crime. I'll make our government open and transparent so that anyone can ensure that our business is the people's business.
I will close Guantanamo. I will restore habeas corpus.
There's a crude and disgusting video sparked outrage throughout the Muslim world. So Susan's the consummate public servant. You know, our businesses have created jobs at nearly twice the pace of the last recovery. If the intelligence community then actually wants to listen to a phone call, they've got to go back to a federal judge. Last year, in 2011, we started reducing the deficit through $1 trillion in spending cuts. Those have already taken place.
The Republicans in Congress are poisoning Obamacare, then trying to claim it's sick.
I want to be clear. If someone's here illegally, they won't be covered under this plan. Our deficits are falling at the fastest pace in 60 years. It should not matter what political stripe you're from. The fact of the matter is that the IRS has to operate with absolute integrity. The government generally has to conduct itself in a way that is true to the public trust. That's especially true for the IRS.
Why? What in your religious faith calls you to be against gay marriage?
what I believe in my faith is that a man and a woman, when they get married, are performing something before God.
There are going to be some glitches along the way. Every law has hiccups when it's first starting off.
You will not see your taxes increased a single dime. The way to make government accountable is make it transparent so that the American people can know exactly what decisions are being made, how they're being made, and whether their interests are being well served. Nobody's listening to the content of people's phone calls. Now, I know some people want me to bypass Congress and change the laws on my own, but that's not how our system works. That's not how our democracy functions. That's not how our Constitution is written. I taught the Constitution for 10 years. I believe in the Constitution, and I will obey the Constitution. We have been very clear to the Assad regime, but also to other players on the ground that a red line for us is we start seeing a whole bunch of chemical weapons moving around or being utilized.
We have cut the deficit by nearly half since I took office.
They do not involve listening to people's phone calls. And I will, I hope, do something to make government trustworthy in the eyes of the American people.
If you're one of the more than 250 million Americans who already have health insurance, you will keep your health insurance. This law will only make it more secure and more affordable.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend
the
Constitution of the United States.
Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
You now know me. You know that I mean what I say.